They
sure,
have no
but it sounded like that thing was just swinging around.
Well, for all intents and purposes,
Sorry.
before they're blooded, it is just swinging around. Like, there's no purpose to it. They don't even pee with
sure.
it.
Sure, but like, I was just imagining things like, it's just taking off, flying.
Like a helicopter?
Yeah. Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Romance and the Monsters. I'm Em.
Hi, I'm S.
I'm Seff.
And this week we read Dark Desires After Dusk by Kresley, the 6th book in the Immortals After Dark series.
And our first demon.
Oh yeah, first demon too. I got thoughts about that.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear your thoughts. I'm excited.
First, what is the book about, Seff?
All right, so we've met Cade since Mariketta's book. He is a rage demon, and the book starts off, like, you know, it's good. Anyways, the book starts off with a flashback, and we see Cade's adoptive family massacred, and he promises his brother Rydstrom, who was the king of their, I guess, section of demons, their species of demons. He was their king, but because of Cade not being there to protect the kingdom, he lost it to the big sorcerer, Omort. And so since then, Cade has promised his brother that he will restore his kingdom to him at whatever cost. And then you find out that Cade and Rydstrom are looking for a vessel, who is a woman who will carry a child, who could be the epitome of good or bad, depending on who the father is, which I think this concept is so bizarre to me, but you know what? It's fantasy.
Just go with it.
Yeah. But anyways.
We need a baby at all costs.
Right? I totally forgot that plot point in this story.
I was surprised. I was shocked,
Yeah,
to be honest.
right?
I wasn't expecting it.
The same.
The baby? Yeah.
Yeah, just the baby plot.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get this woman impregnated
I know.
immediately. What? Okay.
It's so interesting. Because obviously, if it was the epitome of goodness, that'll help with the accession, with the good side of the war. But obviously, if it was on the bad side, that would be their greatest weapon. But anyways, Cade is hired, and Rydstrom are hired by Groot. So not like the tree, but like, you know, Groot as in Omort's brother.
Yeah.
Who's another powerful sorcerer, but he wants the child that will come from the vessel to be obviously the epitome of evil. So we find out that Groot will offer them a sword because he's like this magical sorcerer that can forge weapons. He will create for them a weapon that will destroy Omort. And the only thing Cade has to do is give up his mate, who happens to be Holly. Holly is a professor who has OCD. She has been struggling with it for a long time, and it's something that she basically manifested herself because she's trying to restrict herself from getting out of control. And then later on you find out when she gets kidnapped by rogue demons who wants to, like, they literally want to sacrifice her. Well, they put her on as like a stone table. And they literally were all gonna rape her.
Like a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literal human sacrifice.
Yeah.
But like, they're about to have sex with her.
Well, rape
multiple
her.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes. It should be called what it is.
Yeah.
Rape.
And she's like, nuh-uh, this is not happening. And then our girl turns into full Valkyrie.
Yes, ma'am.
And then that's when you find out that she, you know, yes, she is a vessel, but she's also the Valkyrie. Like, she's a Valkyrie. And that means that our boy Cade can finally touch his mate, because since she was human beforehand, it is against the rules
He can get it now.
to be with a human. But he saves her from the vampires, because the vampires are coming. Obviously they can't impregnate her because, you know, they don't got any movement, you know, where things happen. They want to kill her because they don't want her child to be evil. Or like,
I don't got any movement.
it don't go up.
Sorry.
Like, they have
sure,
no
but it
movement.
sounded like that thing was just swinging around.
Well, for all intents and purposes,
Sorry.
before they're blooded, it is just swinging around. Like, there's no purpose to it. They don't even pee with
sure.
it.
Sure, but like I was just imagining things like it's just taking off, flying.
Like a helicopter?
Yeah. Sorry. My brain went somewhere.
Oh gosh, how do I even continue from that?
Can't be touched by a vampire because they wouldn't want to anyway.
So they they want to kill her because they don't want a baby to be produced from the vessel. And so that's when Holly finally meets Cade not for the first time, but she met him a year ago. But this is the first time that she's seen him as a demon, the first time that she's experienced the lore. And yeah, so their journey starts from there, where he is tasked with bringing her to Groot for the sword, but obviously he's met his his mate. So for him, it's a real struggle, even though he had promised his brother.
Little did we know, this book is a road trip book.
Mm-hmm.
Another shocker I was not expecting. Let's get into what we think of the book. S.
Dun dun dun.
Okay. Oh.
No, nothing bad. I loved it. I feel like these Holly
You
and
did?
Holly and Cadeon were one of my favorite couples. Yeah.
More than
Wow.
Bowen and Mary Kidda?
No, let's not go that far.
Okay.
But close.
Okay.
Close. Yeah.
More than Mist and Nikolai?
Yeah, I think so. But
I'm not mad.
Okay.
I'm actually not mad. This is fine.
Though I will say that it kind of, I don't know about you girls, but it felt a little like the story dragged. I don't know if it's because of the road trip, or I really enjoyed their moments together. But when it got to where they had to fight and teach her how to, teach her how to,
like the week that they spent at that like cabin.
Yeah, I like the moments that they had together, but when it came
Okay.
to like the moments where she had to learn how to fight, where he had to go off and find out information about Groot and where his location was, his address, like I was just kind of bored a little bit.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah.
But I love them. I love the demons. I love Cade.
Cade is so much fun.
Yes,
He
so
is.
fun,
So much
too.
fun.
He is.
He's by far the funniest.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so like, say Nyx. Nyx is not trying to be funny, but she's funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Cade is like trying to be funny, and he's very funny. Like, by far the funniest male character.
My favorite scene for him, like comedy wise, was when they were sparring in the hotel room and Holly's literally damaging the whole room, and then the cops knock on the door, and then he's like, "Dude, someone's going to jail,"
Yes,
or something
I
like
love
that.
part. I thought that was
I
so
think
funny.
one of my favorite lines of his, and I don't even think it's that funny, but like the delivery in the audiobook was like, the square root of fuck all is still fuck all. So funny.
Yes. Oh god.
She calls him cradle rubber.
Yeah.
Like, because she's a baby compared to him. She's like, you're stealing babies, you weirdo.
I loved it. They were pretty funny.
But no, I also loved when he was oh my gosh, I don't remember now what it was. Oh, when he's like, gods, I love it when you talk mathy to me. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
he's so funny. He has such great one-liners.
And he was very what should I say? Understanding. You know how she has OCD? Like
Oh
very
yeah, he
accommodating.
was also
Oh,
very
I
sweet.
love that about him. Yeah.
how much like he understood that she needed food that comes in a wrapper and like in threes, and it's just
and when he like changed her lenses for her glasses to be clear because he knows that they're a sense of comfort, I was like, top, like, he's boyfriend of the year.
Yeah,
like, so cute.
He's so rough around the edges. Like he doesn't hide what he thinks, and he's very like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but he kind of can come off as like rude sometimes, but like it's so funny, and like he's so affectionate and attentive to what his partner needs that like you completely forget. You know how sometimes he says things that you're like, "Whoa, okay." But that was a little mean.
But Holly wasn't a pushover. I feel like she was.
No, and she liked it. She was pushing right back. She was just as rude with him as he was with her. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved Holly's character. Anyway, sorry, Marge, you didn't say your opinion on the story first.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I loved this book a lot as well. Like, a lot. Like I said, it was just so funny. The humor was absolutely on point. And I do think it was needed at this point in the series. The road trip aspect of it did not bother me, which is kind of surprising because it's not actually one of my favorite tropes at all. I don't really go for road trip books usually, but I liked it a lot. I can't necessarily say that I found it dragged, but I can definitely say like that I can pinpoint where you thought it kind of started going there. But I liked the ending. I loved that, you know, in the end she saves herself pretty much. Like, I mean, throughout the whole book, really. Like, he's kind of just there. He's kind of just hanging around, waiting for whatever. Like, he's just, you want to go there? We're going.
Especially, like, when he lost his hands and burned half his body.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I loved Holly, too. I feel like we talk about Kate, but, like, I loved her, too. Like, I loved her progression as a character, how she went from someone who's so stuck up and, you know, doesn't let herself be who she truly is. Like, I loved that aspect of her. I thought it was so relatable. And how she slowly comes out of her shell and discovers who she is and who she wants to be, and she's slowly like, fuck that life I had. Like, that ain't me. Like, I just absolutely adored her. And in the end, like, it was a really fun ride of a book.
No, I agree. I think as I said, this is my second time reading it. I enjoyed their relationship. I enjoyed like their humor, their banter, they were just really cute and like well matched. And as you said, Holly's journey was like the true journey of like a hero, like the true journey of like finding oneself. And I loved where she ended up. Like, she was such a great character. My one huge pet peeve of this book, and it's something that I remember the first time I had an issue with as well, was that despite Tim being an asshole, despite, you know, her not really recognizing that it was a romantic relationship, in her mind, he was still her boyfriend. And she still cheated on him by deed. And you all know that is a trope I dislike.
I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, I did.
Fucked him.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
I didn't care.
Oh, no, I know. But I feel like, no, I hated him too. And like, you know, that's just, like, he was an awful person. And like, I felt like him being the person that was stealing her work kind of was an easy cop-out for her not to feel guilty for what she did. But like, even if he was the most cruelest, like, awful person, like, at least in her head, he was still monogamous to her. Like, he wasn't with anyone else. So for me, it was like, I know I sound like an annoying person, but like, for me, she still cheated on him, despite him being evil. She didn't know he was evil when she first started.
Can I say, though, that I personally loved the fact that she realized that she didn't want Tim anymore and what he represented before. Not only was that before realizing she truly wanted Cade in her life, which I appreciated because that was her making a decision purely for herself and not because she just wanted Cade. It was, no, actually, I deserve better.
Yeah.
Not only was it before that, but I loved that she came to that realization before the big discovery of what Tim really was like.
That's true.
Of his true self. I loved that it wasn't like some kind of realization because, oh my god, he's been an asshole, actually. I deserve better. It was like, no, actually, you know what? I deserve passion in my life. I deserve to feel desired and wanted. I love that. I thought that was really important. I was holding on for that to happen, and it did, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so relieved.
No, and I was grateful it did. But it's like, I'm just annoying. But it's like, I just felt like she needed to at least tell Tim that actually, you know what? I'm better off without you and all this other, like, just everything. And just like, I don't know, I just didn't like the way that was handled. Because, like, yes, at the end of the day, Tim was an evil person. Tim wasn't the love of her life. He didn't have any passion. Like, he was literally just a friend. And I think she was mainly holding on to Tim because she wanted to hold on to her human life. And that's the only reason why he was still in her life until she found out, actually, he's an asshole. But yeah, that was just one thing I didn't really care for in this book. But I did like that was dropped early on in their sexual relationship. And like I guess earlier on in their progression of their relationship as well. So I could easily forget about Tim.
Her denial of her true self was so interesting to me. Like in the last episode when we were talking about well, not technically the last one, but the one before then, Mariketa, I said, oh, I love how Mariketa was never afraid of her darker self. She just embraced it from the beginning, and I thought that this with Holly, it was kind of the opposite. Like, that was her one big fear, and she really became someone else in order to push away who she was. Like, that was just so interesting to me. I really liked that.
Well, I think it's different for Mariketa because she had her family. She had the witch's support.
No, I'm not comparing the two.
No, I know.
Like, I like the difference. Like, you get one that's very open to it, and then the other one you get, like, the repercussions, really, of not accepting who you really are, like, of pushing it away. Like, she became a shell of herself.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, it's obviously, like, she was scared of who she was. She almost killed a person as they were trying to have sex. Like, it's just, she was afraid of her Valkyrie traits, and that's also due to the fact that she didn't know anything about Valkyrie. She didn't know anything about the lore, and, like, as she slowly started discovering herself, she realized, I'm actually badass. I'm amazing. And yeah, I just loved her character.
That's actually really reminiscent of Sebastian.
That's true.
How he was afraid of himself around women because of of who he was and what he was, and his body and his, strength. And it was the same thing with her. Like, she was afraid to be with men because it, turned out really badly before. And I just
want to give him a hug that you just brought up Sebastian. And
little Sebastian. I feel like we forget about him.
I know.
I know. He's such a sweetheart.
He deserves all the love.
Yeah, he does.
Can we talk about Nyx in this book?
Oh gosh, this Valkyrie.
Oh my god, Nyx.
She just gets better and better. I feel like
she's so funny.
She's her car full of sand.
Yeah,
I just almost dying. Like, where the hell? Like, you would think she literally came back from the desert with that car. It's amazing.
She was so great.
She was a hoot in this book. She was very funny.
I'm gonna be so sad if she doesn't get a book.
I'm gonna be really mad too, but I'm pretty sure she will. Like, I think she'll be the last book. The author had said in an interview a few years ago that her book will be the last book.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, she's pretty much the
fairy godmother
master of this entire series. Yeah. Like, she's the one holding the strings, making sure that everyone falls into place where she wants them to fall into place. And
yeah,
she's the grand master.
I love her.
She deserves to have the grand finale.
Yeah, I agree. And I love, even though at this point Holly felt like she was betrayed by Nyx because of her not telling her the full truth. It's as you said, Nyx is the grand master. She knew that Holly would not have given herself to Cade. She would not have trusted Cade, and probably would not have even went further with Cade if she knew the truth of what was going to happen. Obviously, because who would want to trust Cade after knowing the truth? So yeah, she is a grand master, and she's literally she has all these chess pieces in place, and she just knows when to play them. She's just, I love her, and I love her love for demon horns. The amount of times she mentioned them in this book.
She's obsessed with these demons. She really is.
I hope she stays with the demon, to be honest. If there's like a love interest for her.
I don't
with
remember who... sorry, what
you
species?
remember, girl. You just don't want to say who it is. I don't believe you.
I don't remember what a species was. No, to be honest,
Sure.
Shut up, Marge. I'm being serious.
Wait, so there is mention of someone for her?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's who people think. People really think this guy is her mate.
But we haven't come across, right?
No, I think she said it was in a sweet ruin.
I think, yeah, that's when you get your first real, like, view of them. But I think they're mentioned maybe a few books earlier. I don't really remember.
I feel like this book started a new era of this series, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it was like we were like exploring a whole new side of this world. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I'm slowly starting to see where this is going to go, or where it's going to go next, because I have to say that after Naomi's book, I was like, okay, well, where are we going now? You know?
Yeah.
I feel like this...
Do you think it was because the demons were introduced? Like, it's more...
Partly, yeah, but also, like, the Olmart, like, his whole storyline, which does play a big part in this book, but also very much in the next one. So
Okay,
I don't know. I feel like you're. I mean, isn't it crazy that 7 books in, we're still discovering new species in this freaking world?
Oh yeah, and that doesn't end. It doesn't end.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. The next one, you're meeting new people, and then the one after that, the one I just started, you're meeting new people again. Like, it's just non-stop. It's so fun.
Yeah, and the amount of different species, like, in this world is crazy. And I'm not overwhelmed by it. Like, I just think she does such a good job of, like, incorporating all of them and all the different characters and all the different dimensions of worlds. Because, like, even in this book, they mention different realms. And I'm like, wow.
Whoa, I didn't... They did?
Well, yeah, because Rydstrom's kingdom is on a different, like, it's on a different dimension.
Can I just say that I was right about Rydstrom's accent being South African? Thank you very much.
Oh, really?
You were.
Yeah. His kingdom is set in South Africa. Thank you.
Yes.
Marge.
How did you guys feel about him in this book? In relation to Cade, obviously, and like that feud.
All right, take it away.
Would it be considered a feud? I don't know, but that whole situation.
Okay, so you know how I felt with the whole situation with who was the last character? Conrad, and Naomi, right?
Yes.
So I felt like Rydstrom was a little bit too harsh in the sense that how he blamed Cade about his kingdom getting taken away and blaming him for it because he didn't come back when
100% agree.
He was called.
I think it's another case of perspectives.
Yeah.
Like, you get Cade's perspective in this book. You get how he felt about the whole thing, and like he's very justified. Like I'm with you on Rydstrom being way too harsh on him for something like he never could have stopped it. However, Rydstrom doesn't know that, and I do think it makes for an interesting thing, especially for Rydstrom's book, where this is something he needs to come to terms with. He needs to understand that, like, that's a big part of his character development, is understanding like Cade couldn't have done anything. It's not his fault. And I just like how she's not afraid to make her characters flawed, make her characters sometimes even not liked for a little while, and then she's like, well, actually, I know you don't like this character right now, but here's why I think you should still care for them. Here's a different perspective. Here's like, I love how she's not afraid to do that. You know, I think it's
and I agree.
Complex.
Yeah, I agree. And I think she does a good job of making you understand Cade and understand that, you know, he was sent away as a young boy to this family who became his family. And of course he didn't want to leave the family he found and the family that loved him for everything that he was. to go back to a cold palace with like people who he doesn't acknowledge him as his family. And I think she does a really good job of showing his perspective, like you said, different perspectives, like with everything that went on with Sebastian and Nikolai and Conrad and Murdoch. That was all about perspectives and understanding all of their, their flaws and everything that they've thought about the whole situation, about being turned against their will, and like Nikolai's guilt and everything else like surrounding that. And I think with Rydstrom and Cade, we don't know, at least yet, what Rydstrom's feelings were about everything that went on. So, like you said, I think Kresley Cole is a master at showing different perspectives and showing different sides of characters and their thought processes.
How did you feel about Cade hiding his reasons the whole book? Like, hiding the truth about what was going on with Olmort and the sword, and like not telling her that he's gonna come back, and I feel like the deceiving.
Yeah, I feel like he should have been honest. I feel like a little bit.
But he couldn't be honest. Because remember, Groot could read minds.
Oh, that's true.
So Groot would have known that she knew.
Couldn't he have told Nyx? Like, had Nyx be more involved, especially towards the end?
Nyx knew, though.
Nyx is rarely involved.
She knew, but to kind of give Holly, like, a heads up, like,
she couldn't
come up with some type of plan.
But that's just not who Nyx is.
Yeah.
Nyx just tells you whatever and expects you to understand perfectly what she just said, and you completely misinterpret it.
Yeah.
And she's just gone the rest of the book, and then she's like, "Oh, that's what you thought I had said? I'm sorry."
No, she's that person that like starts a fire and then just watches it, and then just doesn't give you any tools to put it out. That's Nyx. That's her, like, her character right now.
Yeah. And we were talking about perspectives, and I think this is another thing that this book did. It kind of gave you a different perspective of the Valkyries again.
Yeah.
They weren't enemies in this book. They weren't either like so stifling like the first book, but it definitely gave you like a different perspective, because Holly is not part of them really, but they want her to be.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I loved how she didn't trust them. That was a first, I guess, so far.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, she was burned by Nyx, and she's like, well, the Valkyrie, I mean, how can I trust them? But for me, I think the whole plot of him not telling her, I mean, like, he talks about it from the beginning. His guilt is his driving force. It's what's leeching out the joy of the possibility of having his mate. He knows he can't have that because he's known as a black sheep of his species. He's known as like a failure in his brother's eyes, in his kingdom's eyes. His guilt is so strong and overpowering that he really didn't see any way out of it, and like he needed to be restored in his brother's eyes. And it's a tough situation, and like Holly's a strong woman. Like, to forgive him for what he did, she's a strong woman. I don't know. I think it was a tough pill to swallow as Holly, to realize that, of course, like, he didn't put the sword above her. Thought he could get both at the same time. He can get the girl and the sword. We know that didn't work out the way he wanted it to.
Well, and turns out she didn't need him to begin with. So
I know.
Our girl got it done without the man.
She really did.
She was so badass though with the Wendigo.
She was. Yeah.
I love her. Like, Valkyrie, Holly was amazing.
Can we just briefly mention how disgusting it is that Groot was having sex with a reanimated body?
Oh, I wanted to barf.
I was like, ew.
When he's like, I have needs up here.
It
or
gets
something
lonely
like
around here.
Yeah.
Ew.
I'm like,
Ew.
ew, and they all smell. And he puts his little in there. Oh, why'd you have to bring it up?
I hated every second of it. Did you mention that Olmart was the previous baby?
No, I did not.
I thought that was interesting. How he can't have her because he was the previous baby. He was like the demon child that came from the last
vessel.
What is it called?
Vessel.
Vessel.
Yeah.
So, like, we actually had an example of why we don't want this to happen again. Do you think, okay, here's a question. Do you think the baby that's gonna come, because our girl is pregnant, by the way, first baby of the series.
Whoop whoop.
I guess. Do you think he's gonna be evil or good?
Oh, good.
Good.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
Though I wouldn't be opposed to an evil baby, honestly.
I wouldn't be either, but, like, Cade is such a sweet, soft boy, but also a badass.
Yeah.
But he's still a noble man.
But he was so afraid.
I know.
He was so afraid of, like, his baby coming out evil.
Would be evil, yeah. But I'm like, boy, no. You're the opposite of evil. Like, if it was Lothair's baby, maybe that'll give you a pause. But I mean, Cade, no.
Do we get to see the baby, like, throughout the series? Like, do we witness the pregnancy?
I don't think so. I think that's why I forgot Holly even got pregnant to begin with.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't even know, to be honest, like, the time period of the story. Like, does it take years for it to happen, or are they all happening around the same time? Like, I'm rereading it with you guys, and it's honestly, I'm seeing it again with fresher eyes, because I haven't read Cade's book since I read it the first time, which was years ago. Rydstrom's going to be the same thing when I picked that one up. I haven't read that one since the first time I read it.
Did you guys catch when the Valkyries come for Holly and Regan is there and she's trying to, like, attract Holly to her with hand wipes?
Yeah.
She's like, I got hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Regan is so funny. I love that.
I was
Valkyrie.
dying.
I can't wait for her book.
Her book is so
Yeah.
good. I love her book.
I don't know who it was that said, like, oh, the school mom is calling the demon a buzzkill. It's like, that is so the dynamic of Holly and Cade. The school mom and the buzzkill.
And then I love when, like, that's when Holly was like to Cade, you're really dating yourself. Like, now you sound like an old man.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about, we know what happened to Rydstrom. He got captured by Sabine, but then at the end of the book, we see Rydstrom, obviously, you know, with just jeans on, and he's been doing something freaky, and you hear Sabine from somewhere in the house. But then we see, like, how nonchalant he is about Cade bringing the sword. He's just like, okay, I got other things on my mind.
Well, Rydstrom had a lot of other things on his mind at that point.
No, I know.
I
know. But, like, if you're putting yourself in Cade's mind...
First of all, can we just talk about how insane the setup for the next book was in this one? I was vibrating in my seat. I was like, oh my god, I was not expecting that for Rydstrom at all. I'll be straight up honest, I wasn't even excited for his book until this one.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh my god, is she gonna go there? And I was like, is this gonna set me up for something? And then I start the book and it's, like, completely different. It was not, my friends.
But did you like it? Did you like his book?
We can't know yet. Just blink twice if you liked it, Marge. Blink twice.
I'm blinking 3 times for hell yeah.
Okay, good.
How did you like that setup? Are you intrigued by Rydstrom and Sabine? Like, what were your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I've been excited for his book since he was introduced, and
really, you liked him since then?
Bowens. Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see this whole switch with his character. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, back to my original question before Marge just decided to talk about that.
Sorry. I mean, it was too exciting not to talk about.
But no, I loved that she was, like, screaming from somewhere upstairs. I loved it. And then Cade was like, what the hell is going on? Like, is that Sabine? It was funny. Anyways.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my question was, what were your thoughts on Rydstrom's, like, nonchalance about finally having the sword that can destroy Omor? Like, what were your thoughts about it? Because that has been the driving force of Rydstrom and Cade. They want to get revenge, and that's the main reason why Rydstrom and Cade's relationship is so strained. But at the end, he didn't really seem to care.
What do you think, guys?
I don't know.
You didn't have a reaction at all?
I was
did, but I mean,
pissed.
but I feel like, I don't know.
I was so angry.
I was very disappointed in Rydstrom.
Me
for
too.
sure. I was like, "Are you kidding me? We've gone through all of this. Holly nearly died, was nearly raped a couple times. Like she's
almost
now
got a spike thrown in her head.
We don't know that yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we've gone through all of this. My boy Cade is nearly drowned or whatever, and now
You don't care?
now he brings you the freaking sword, and you're like, oh, okay, thanks.
And it's like...
But I do think Cade, like, from his POV, he does say, like, oh, I can see my brother is going through it.
Yeah.
He did.
Moment. Like, he could see he wasn't himself.
No, he did. And he did
So-
acknowledge that. But it's also like,
Yeah.
Rydstrom knew that, like, Cade would have to lose his mate in order to get the sword. So I get it. You know, his mind's preoccupied. And, like, he seems to be going through some shit. But it's just like, for Cade, it must have felt like the ultimate betrayal. That, like, my brother didn't care. Like, it just broke my heart because I was so angry because I fell in love with Cade in this book. And it's just, like, the ultimate betrayal from his brother. The thought that the sword wasn't enough.
Sure, but to sustain a series this long, doesn't that make a lot of sense? Like,
Oh, yeah,
to keep
100%.
things going and, like...
Oh, yeah. Doesn't mean I can't be mad for Cade.
Sure. No, I was mad too. But also
But
I
yeah.
was just like, oh my god, is Sabine in that house?
No,
And
oh,
he's
yeah.
there? He's gone dark.
I know.
Rydstrom has gone dark.
No, I know. And like, his book was exciting. But no, I'm just, like, for me, that was just my thought process. Because I know what Cade had gone through and how much they wanted that sword. But he was preoccupied. He was, you know, held down by other things.
But you don't think there was, like, understanding in a way?
Oh, Cade
yeah,
understood.
right.
Yeah.
From Cade. Yeah.
from
Yeah,
Cade's
he understood that his
perspective,
brother
like,
was, you know, not himself.
But it also felt like sort of complete in a way for Cade because then he had done what he wanted to do. And now he
Yes.
was sort of free from it in
Yes.
a sense. Like he could just go on and live his life and cut off his own horns.
I know! But I'm glad that he's able to grow them back. I was
I
a
was
little,
so
I
sad
think I
when he
would have,
did
like,
that.
She was like, what did you
Yeah.
do?
The horns are sexy. And we didn't even talk about
think-
them.
I think that's what gave me more of a reaction when I found out that he cut his horns. I'm just like, no, not the horns.
That
Yeah.
must have hurt him so much. Because think about how sensitive they are. That must have killed.
I did not even think about that. Oh my god, you're so
Yeah.
right.
And he was even willing to
Ouch.
keep doing it every few months.
Okay, so my question is, if Cade can cut off his own horns, why is it that Rydstrom's is not growing back? Like he has one of them that's broken, right?
Yeah.
I think it was cut off before his transition.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. A lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
You're probably right. Okay. Can I admit something?
Yes. You want horns on a man? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who I prefer anymore, vampires or demons.
Really?
I'm really into the demons.
Yeah.
They got that something. Like I feel like they're a good mix between werewolves and vampires in a
Yes.
weird way. Like I don't know, they're just I don't know. There was something about them, guys. I don't know. I'm confused now.
For me, it's the horns. I
Yeah.
love a good horn play scene, and woo,
girl,
she really took her demon by the horns.
Yeah.
girl.
Another thing I want to talk about, this was the
We're
first
talking
book
about
where the-
horns.
No, but no, yes. But this was the first book where the girl takes control when it comes to like the first time where they have sex, right?
Oh yeah.
She was one of the first ones.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like where she was like
Okay.
okay with it, like do me already, and everybody else was just kind of like push
True.
and pull,
I agree.
right?
Actually, no. Naomi took the lead on that
She
one
took
too.
control. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say also Mist and Cadeon sort of had the upper hand in their first, not the first sex scene, but like the first make out hot and heavy scene.
Yeah.
I think Cadeon and Mist both had the upper hand in those ones, but you're probably I don't know, maybe Naomi.
Yeah.
Maybe Naomi.
Naomi might have been the only one, but I think it was only because Conrad was scared about hurting her. But in this situation, like, Holly
And he was
really,
a virgin too. Our boy Cade is not.
Not
Cade
a virgin, no. Holly was,
Cade
but
is not
she
a
still knew
virgin.
what she wanted and, like,
Sure.
took her demon by the horns. Literally. Guys, it was so hot. The horn scene, I couldn't handle.
Yeah.
I know.
Who would have thought?
I kind of want to say that this book had some of the hottest sex.
No, I agree with that
I'm
statement.
just I'm trying to, like, remember the scenes from Warlord, which were very hot. Like, up till this point, that was the hottest for me. But I do think this book had great scenes.
Yeah, I agree. It did.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think
the demons, guys.
It's the demons.
They turn red. They turn into literal Satan.
I know. And then their face gets more, like, you know, structured. And I was just picturing, guys, you know, do you remember on Twitter I said that I was really attracted to the demon Lucifer from the show?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember. And I literally, that was what I was envisioning with Cade going full demon, but minus the wings. And I'm like, finally, this is like good monster sex.
This is monster.
And I love
monster
it.
sex. You're right. Yes.
But yeah. So my fantasy was fulfilled.
110%.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with this.
But, oh my gosh, we didn't mention, and I'm pretty sure that was really loud. What are your thoughts on Dash? The demon pirate guy.
Oh, is that the friend?
No, Dash, the guy from the demon pub.
Where she sat on his lap and they exchanged numbers and got her drunk?
Mm-hmm.
At the sandbar?
Yeah.
No. Where he
was so funny.
That. Where Cade went to go talk to Immortals?
Yeah, he got her drunk on demon brew.
Yeah. Oh my god, I imagined to be like, he was really old in my head. Is he not old? Like, are you saying that because he's someone's, like, love interest at one point?
Is he?
I need him to get a book. Like, I need that demon to get a great book. I love him.
I was imagining some old man.
No, I'm picturing this hot pirate. He has a, like, pirate voice.
Maybe
and I was just picturing
maybe
a
it was
pirate.
a case of, like, it was probably a case of the audiobook narrator making his voice sound older than it is, so me getting the impression that he was. Anyway, why do you want him to get a book? And who do you want it to be with?
Because, spoiler, he's in a lot of other stories. And he's great.
I mean, I'm lukewarm about it for now.
What do you
I'm
think?
That will change.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind reading about him. I liked him. I thought he was funny.
Like, he really didn't leave a lasting impression on you.
At all.
No?
I forgot about him.
I'm sad.
Quite frankly. I thought you were talking about the friend. The demon friend.
See,
that comes
he
and
didn't leave
helps.
an impression on me.
Is he a fire demon?
Smoke demon.
Is it Rock? Rock?
Smoke demon? Rock demon?
No, that's his
name.
name.
His name's Rock.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, a rock demon?
No, that's his name.
Rock on.
You're such
There's a lot
dork.
of different types of demons, right? The flame demon, the rage
demon.
Oh, there's
and then
so many types.
what is it? The
So many
demonas or whatever it's called.
Demoness,
Demoness.
which I feel like in a previous podcast we weren't sure if demoness were a thing, but they are a thing. They definitely are.
Yes.
Which I don't know if that happens later on in the series, but I would love to see an actual demon pairing, because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, there
I don't know how
hasn't
that
been
works.
a same species romance. Like, I don't think in terms of, like, what we've read so far, and I don't think there has been one even in the books that have released.
Well, probably just because it doesn't make sense for what the purpose of making these pairings is.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, pairing up for the war, but well, no, I'll leave that to next episode.
Okay. Okay. But also, we didn't even talk about, like, not only was Cade feeling guilty about, losing the kingdom, and also the guilt of having to give Holly up, but also his guilt of killing Naomi. Like, that was still, like, a big part of, like, his personality and, like, his drive to do better. Like, it honestly broke my heart. Like, Naomi's fine.
And he didn't even know.
I know.
But why didn't they tell him? That's what confused me a little. Why didn't they tell him?
Because they don't talk. Conrad, the vampires, I don't think they really talk to the demons.
No.
And Nyx didn't lie. Nyx said that she was dead.
Like, Nyx, what you doing, girl?
And wouldn't Mariquetta? Aren't they friends still?
Well, they kind of are through the ladies, through the Valkyries and the witches, for sure. But I still think it's not, like, an easy relationship between vampires and demons. Like, they're new to this, I think. And
I think you're referring to Cade and Mariquetta's friendship. I don't think they're, like, close. Like, I think when they see each other, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Cade, how are you doing? What's up? But I don't think, like, they confide in each other. And I think Nixon tell him the truth that, Naomi is alive because she needed it to play out the way it did. She needed Holly to, like, actually embrace herself. Because that would not have happened if Cade had gotten Naomi and gotten the truth out of Conrad.
I love when it's the big battle. She's like, Holly is like against Groot or whatever, like he's about to like throw her off the building or whatever, like she's about to fall or something. And or is it when she's battling the like zombies look-alike things? Anyway, she says, and I love that line, she says, Furies are predators, Valkyries are warriors. I am both. And I was like, that is the cheesy line in like every superhero movie, but I was here for it. I was like, yes,
it was
girl.
empowering for her.
I have that line saved. It was so important for like the monster discussion, which I think we'll probably get into now, because like I felt like that was her struggle. Her monster, in fact, was her, her fear of letting go, the fear of accepting who she was and who she is as a person. But like once she finally accepted that she is Valkyrie and also Fury and also human, she became amazing. She was like, she massacred those Wendigo. She massacred the demon that was trying to kill Cade in her. She was amazing.
Yeah, she embraced
it. For me, that's what I thought her monster was. Well. It was the fear of, not being in control.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Agreed.
And then for Cade, I do think that, okay, so this was, I would say, the least angsty book so far in the series. And I do think a lot of it has to do with Cade's humor, but I do think his humor actually hides a lot of insecurity.
Yes.
It said that at one point in the book, it said that he started making fun of like mocking people that are good at math and like mocking things like that, and it was only because he wasn't educated himself and he felt less than and not good enough, so he was mocking things like that. And so I just think, that kind of followed him throughout his whole life, because as you were saying before, he always felt like he wasn't deserving, like what happened with Rydstrom was his fault, like he wouldn't be deserving of the throne had Rydstrom not come back or whatever. Like he just never felt like he was enough.
Yeah.
And here he found someone who he truly felt he was enough for.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the sense of like, it's funny because I didn't get the sense with Cade that like he felt like he wasn't good enough for Holly. Like I feel like a lot of the other guys felt that way, but he was like, nah, I'm great. Yeah. Like, actually, you're lucky you're with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love his confidence.
Even though he had like a little insecurities, he had a couple insecurities. It reminded me of that part where they were talking about what it takes to be an assassin. And then Holly mentioned something about, oh, I think you just need bronze over brains or something like that. And he felt like so offended. I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, and I love that Holly even saw, like, as you said, it's insecurity. She saw that he was searching up what certain math terms meant because she talked about them and he wanted to know what she was talking about. And that's when I was like, you know what, this boy, I'm calling him a boy, like he's on a 900, I don't know, he's almost a millennia, right? He's almost 1,000 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm calling him a boy, but like he was such a sweetheart. And like he was so sweet and so cute.
Well, you know what? There's two kinds of intelligence, right? There's actual like intelligence like math and science and such. And there's emotional intelligence, which I do think what's funny here is that he is very emotionally intelligent. Like he knew what Holly needed at all times. You can feel that he's a very compassionate person. And Holly, it's like the opposite, you know, like she's got the brains, but you know, she's not always capable of understanding what people feel, or, you know, like I thought that was really interesting how, you know, and at the end of the day, one of them is not more important than the other.
I agree.
Know? Like,
yeah. And I think that's why they complement each other so well, because like you said, their intelligence lies elsewhere. Like they're both smart in other areas. And yeah. Did you have any monsters, S?
I just feel like the monster for Cade was his guilt that he carried on for like what, nine centuries.
And also, maybe not necessarily a monster, but the fact that Holly doesn't feel like she quite belongs. Like, sure, she no longer feels like she belongs with the humans, but I don't get the feeling that she also feels like she belongs with the Valkyries. So I think that's kind of interesting how even at the end of the book, you still don't really get that feeling. Like she's still kind of searching for, okay, well, how do I combine those two parts of my life? Like, how do I combine those two parts of myself? Because sure, you're a Valkyrie now, but she was a human for like 23 years, you know? Like, so I just think that was really interesting how she never really figured out where her place truly was. I mean, it was with Cade, obviously, like that was obvious, but you know, like as far as like in this lore, where do I belong? And I just think that's an interesting question, because like sometimes you just really don't figure that out, you know? Like sometimes you just like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, no, I feel like everyone can relate to that statement. It's like, it's a hard thing to figure out. And some, as you said, some people don't ever figure out where they belong. And yeah, I think Holly was a relatable character. Like, she was so relatable. But like you said, as like his guilt was a monster for him, because it was like his driving force of his decision making, and his decisions ultimately caused him more harm than good. But yeah, I totally agree. I think the monster for him was his guilt as well. And his fear of failure as well. Because, like, he's been failing Rydstrom. He thinks he's been failing Rydstrom for so long. And then it causes him to do stupid things and make stupid decisions. And it's just, it's a tough one. Oh my gosh. And when they made that bet that, you know, he couldn't make her, you know, find release in under 3 minutes. And then she would not wear panties. And then this girl, they went shopping, and then he was like, "Nah, you're gonna try on these jeans without panties," until like he obviously gave them back. I was like, "That's disgusting." But yeah, no, I was dying at like the little, like the teenage girls in the next room over, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, there's a hot man outside."
About him.
Yeah, that must so go to his head. Like he sounds gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
and everyone knows it.
Am I wrong, or is Cade and are Cade and Murdoch the men that are described as the most beautiful out of them all?
I believe so. Yeah, Murdoch is like the ladies' man.
Murdoch is like, the ladies. Yeah, the ladies' man. Like he's described as like absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I feel like Cade too. So I don't know what that says, but I just felt the need to say that.
I didn't picture him as a blonde. But yeah, no, I kept picturing dark hair for some reason. And I always like took a moment to be like, oh wait, actually he's blonde.
Well, if the guy on the cover has brown hair, I mean, it's kind of hard not to picture him with brown hair. Like, why is the cover why does the cover not match the character? Hello.
Yeah, I don't know. That irks me.
But like he's the dark hair kind of guy to me.
Yeah,
like his personality doesn't fit blonde.
Yeah, he gives me the dark hair vibes.
Sorry.
All right, I think it's time for our rankings.
Doom, doom, doom. Okay, well. That came out really southern.
We're ending this with a southern accent.
Well, folks. Can I just say something first?
Yes.
There's just someone I really want to shout out because, okay, so this book deals with OCD, right?
Yes.
And I just think mental health in romance novels especially is like really important, and I think that some people do it amazingly well. I don't think it was such a big deal in this book, but I just wanted to say that if you like this aspect of romance novels and you want to read more, there's this author called Nicky James, and every single book she writes MM. So if you don't read MM, then that's not for you. But if you do, please check her out because she always talks about mental health in her books, whether it's depression. She has a whole series called the Trials of Fear series, where every single book is about a different character that has a different phobia. So I read that series and I learned so much. Phobias I hadn't even thought of, and she shows you how those phobias affect not just someone's love life, but someone's professional life, someone's social life. Like, it's so interesting, and she doesn't necessarily wrap it up in the pretty little bow either. Like, you kind of get the feeling that it's a journey that these characters are on, and they have a partner along with them, which eases some of the weight, but doesn't necessarily make it go away. You know what I mean? So I just think she deals with it in amazing ways. She also has a book called Love Me Whole, which is about a character that has dissociative identity disorder, so DID, which is incredible. So I don't know, I just wanted to shout her out because I don't think she's very well known, and I just think she's doing really incredible things, and she's a great writer, so she should definitely be read more.
Oh, I'll be checking her out then for sure.
Now that that's done, let's rank some men and women.
Woo woo!
Who wants to go first?
You want to go first, Seff?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, why not?
All right. So, okay, are we doing females or males first?
Let's go female this time around.
All right.
Let's mix things up.
All right. So, holding top spot. I don't know. We do bottom up, right? I always get this messed up. No, top.
I think we do top
to bottom. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. First spot.
No one's a bottom in this series.
No. Okay. Top spot is Mariquetta.
Yes.
Second,
okay.
Holly. And then Cadeon, Mist, Naomi, and then Emma.
Okay, so it would be Mariquetta, then Holly, then Mist, then Cadeon, then Emma, then Naomi.
Marge is like, wait.
Mine is... There's some in there that I'm not quite sure about, but whatever. Mist. That didn't change. And then I have Cadeon and Holly as a tie in second place. I don't know who I prefer between the two. Then Mariquetta, Emma, and Naomi.
I think I messed it up. I think Naomi should have been below.
I think Holly might be a little, like a few steps ahead of Cadeon, but I'm putting them as a tie because I don't want to choose.
Okay. All right, time for the males. So top spot still is Conrad. And then second, Cade and Bowen are tied. Like, I couldn't figure out which one I liked more. I love them both. And I just, as soon as I thought maybe I'd put one below it, I was like, actually, no. So Conrad, and then Cade, Bowen, and then Nikolai, Sebastian, and then Lachlan. That's my order. Okay, let's hear yours. Your judgment. I'm feeling it.
No, I'm not. I think for me, it's gonna be Bowen and then Cade. Bowen, Cade. I think I'm gonna leave Lachlan third. Nikolai. I don't know. I think Conrad and then Sebastian.
Oh.
Or those two can be flipped, either or. They can battle it out between the last two spots.
That hurt.
Okay.
That hurt.
Mine is Nikolai. Still.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
My top boo. Cade. Conrad, and then Bowen and Ty. Sebastian. Lacklane. But can I just say that next time we record Immortals After Dark, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, there might be a change. Spoiler alert.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Get
I'm
ready
really
for
excited
that.
to hear your thoughts. And I'm excited to hear my own thoughts because I'm curious to see if my opinion will change.
I have a feeling I'm going to be the only one gushing.
Yeah?
you guys are going to be like, nah. It's fine. It will just become the Marjorie podcast where I just talk about this book. For like
It'll
2
just be you
hours.
next episode, and you'd be like, Marge, so what do you think about this? Oh, Marge, I really enjoyed this.
Let me tell you.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh my
so
god.
wait, so question for Seff. The
Yes.
first time you read Rydstrom's book, did you like it?
No.
No?
I didn't like it as much as I wanted to.
What book did you, what brother did you like more, Cade or Rydstrom the first time around?
Cade.
Or is it just a Cade? Oh, okay.
Can I just ask a question though?
Mhm.
Yes.
What you didn't like, was it really Rydstrom or was it Sabine?
I think it was Sabine.
Which is exactly why I love this book. So I think the reasons why you don't like this book are the reasons why I loved it. Like
Interesting.
We'll talk about it.
I'm curious to see what our next episode will be like then, because yeah, I'm excited. All right, so
we might have some heated debates, everyone.
oh no, we promise it won't be a hate rant. Like, we won't do that. Are there any lasting remarks you had about this book? Any quotes you wanted to share? Anything?
Okay, so let's say if you girls were Valkyrie, what would be your Valkyrie name?
Oh,
Marjorie,
Oh,
the what?
oh my god.
Seff, the...
You
what would it
can't
be?
like expect us to have an answer like that.
Okay,
on
so
the spot.
let's think about it, and then for the next
So we have
episode,
like Cadeon the Cold. We
Mhm.
have missed the
coveted.
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 We have Mary Keta,
She's not
Awaited.
a Valkyrie.
the Awaited.
and then
she's
next
the Awaited.
next the
Well, yeah.
Soothsayer.
Nyx the Soothsayer.
Holly the Bright. No, Holly the Bright.
Holly the Brave.
Emma of the Three.
Isn't Emma the Unlikely? Wasn't Emma the Unlikely?
Oh, I thought it was of the Three. Because she was like Valkyrie, vampire, and...
No, she had
werewolf.
her Valkyrie name.
Oh. Well, the Unlikely then. Oh my god, I feel like this is like choosing a DJ name. This is like huge.
Okay, so let's
Or like
let's
a porn star name.
let's think about
I don't
it.
freaking know.
Let's think about it, and then we'll answer for the next Immortals After Dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know. Suffer the weirdo? Like, I don't know.
No. Say no. It has to be a badass name.
Jeez, but we're not badass at all.
Let's pretend
The most
in this
excitement I
world-
get is like reading a book.
It will be like Seff, the raging fangirl.
Oh gosh.
So let's think about it for the next episode.
Okay, fine. We'll
Okay,
think
this is
about it.
cool. This is cool. Well, we will check back in next Immortals After Dark book episode.
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Well, this is it for this episode of Romance and the Monsters. I hope you enjoyed. Next week, we're not sure what we're reading yet, so make sure to check your social media to figure that out. You can find us on social media at Romance and the Monsters Podcast on Instagram or the RTM Pod on Twitter. You can also email us at romanceandthemonsterspodcast@gmail.com. And you can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at Foes and Lovers.
And you can find me S on Instagram and Twitter at ButThisBook.
And you can find me, Seff, on Instagram and Twitter at Pros with Woes.
If you had the chance to listen to our podcast and love what you've heard so far, please consider leaving us a review at any podcast apps. We'd really appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed our discussion of Dark Desires After Dusk.
Okay, we need to get better at closing this thing off. Because this is so lame.
We say that literally every single time.
I know.
And we don't get better at it. So I feel like it's just expected at this point that
we're bad. Yeah.
But anyways, see you next week, I guess. Hopefully it's an interesting book.
We'll let you know when we figure it out.
Yeah.